everybody. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to Sand City Sports. Let's see. All right. We're getting things moving in the right direction. Good, of course. I forget to do one thing per usual, so let me get the lighting straightened out. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Sand City, we in the building. Let's get it. Hope everybody out there is doing well in television land. Yep. Live. Yes, indeed. Facebook, yes, sir. Let's go across the board. How's everybody out there doing? How's your Tuesday going? Beautiful thing. All right. Thank you so much. Updating people on Twitter X. Let me know that they've updated their policies. Wonderful, beautiful thing. Our Twitter, our X is good. Oh, goodness. Gotta come on over. One of the accounts. Get that straightened out. Get our YouTube straightened out. It's good. Twitch. See how the Twitch is doing. It's good. All right. All right. Sand City, we are go for launch. Tremendous amount. What are we doing here? Dare I say, my New York Knicks have taken the lead in the NBA Cup championship. How do I pronounce it? Do not have an elite coach still in Tom Thibodeau on the sideline, but the New York Knicks are handling business. Have to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to the team. Shout out to this opportunity. I see Tyler Kolek, okay, the pride of New England, specifically Rhode Island, before he took his talents to St. George's and balled out. Tyler Kolek is getting good rotation minutes, and the Knicks up 5. Plenty of time left in the fourth. You're watching it. I'm watching it. We shall follow. But we got a tremendous amount. Tuesday. I got a chance to take in the Friday night lights. I know it's a Tuesday, but I got a chance to see a local ball game, which was tremendous, and which we will discuss. But yeah, just a good solid work day, and now thrilled that I have the opportunity to get into my passion project, to get into this Sand City Sports episode, and to share with the people the sports and current events news stories that you need to know. Let's go. Let's get it going. You know what this is. Whoop, whoop. I got a couple. Hold up. What? Hold on. Hey. Whoa! What's going on here, folks? Why is my intro going? The intro is going, but it's paused. Where is that sound coming from? What is going on? The intro is playing someplace else beyond Riverside. I don't know. And now I'm back. We had the music, but it was on. Like I didn't hit. I got to hit that play. Riverside, why are you jumping the gun? Why are you not? I I done stepped up my game production wise. We doing a little bit. We ain't doing it too big, but we doing a little bit over here on Sand City in terms of production. And now we got technical difficulties going on. Okay, the intro goes when I say go. Okay, when I move, you move. You heard me, just like that. We don't move unless I say move. Okay, you don't move unless you see me moving. You know, if you see me doing the shoulder shake, then you know it's time to go. We don't go before you. So Riverside, let's we got to synchronize. Okay, we got to synchronize. Hold on, take and now I got to get my volume right. Boo boo, volume is good. Sand City in the building. To the business. I am the host of King Podcast. Yes, sir. Welcome to this episode of Sand City Sports. Come back. We don't do just one time for the intro. You know what I'm saying? So we got a tremendous amount. On this Tuesday. Hold on. I see. Yes, indeed. What's going on, Chris? Salute. Tuesday edition. Telling the people. NBA Cup. My New York Knicks. Bowling out. We shall discuss. Got to talk about who is sitting on the Iron Throne in the NBA. Could it be a one Mr. Victor Wembanyama? A lot to talk about in terms of hoop dreams. I got a lot on my mind. Went to a ball game, and it just took me back, all the nostalgia, great environment. So we will be talking about hoop dreams and the journey, right? It's a journey. It's a process. Okay, and it's once in a lifetime. Right? Hoop dreams. And so, for those individuals, the youths, the young people that's in the arena, I mean, they're playing their hearts out. They're doing the best that they can, and then their communities supporting them, encouraging them. It's challenging. It's hard. But what did Jimmy Dugan say? All right, if it wasn't hard, everybody would do it. Right, the hard is what makes it great. So we're gonna a lot to get to relative to the hoop dreams. But to begin with, I'm gonna take a page, and I always say this. Okay, we always congratulate on Sand City Sports. All right, we congratulate. I'm gonna take a page from Big Ben, and we're gonna play the hits. We're gonna focus in on this game, the NBA Cup. Focusing in on this game, folks, and the question must be answered. Okay, who sits on the Iron Throne in the NBA? Who is sitting on the Iron Throne? No, I can't get down with that. Who is sitting on the Iron Throne in the NBA? Is it Victor Wembanyama? Is it Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Is it Nikola Jokic? Who is sitting on the Iron Throne? We got to get our art straightened out. And then we're going to dive into that topic. Any Game of Thrones fans out there? Okay. Any Tyrion Lannister fans out there? I don't understand how you cannot be a fan of Tyrion. Okay. Jaime Lannister. Cersei's. The father whose name escapes me. I don't know about all them. But Tyrion's just a good dude. He kind of disrespected him, called him out of his name a little bit. It's hard being. I mean, Tyrion's a good dude. We got to vote for Jokic on the Iron Throne in the NBA. I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at the Joker. But what I'm saying is who was just lights out dominant, right? And so look, we're gonna start off with that man. Let's get the art straightened out and let's dive into this conversation. Let's see where we're at in this ball game. Hold up. Knicks up 5, 6 minutes to go. Okay. It's all in the family right now for the NBA Cup, based on the fact that Mike Brown, coach of the Knicks, having taken over for an elite coach in Tom Thibodeau. But what coaching tree does Mike Brown come from, folks? What coaching tree is Mike Brown from? Very good. He's from the Spurs, right? He's from the Spurs coaching tree. All right. And of course, the San Antonio Spurs have a dynamic coach leading the way. Folks, is Victor Wembanyama on that Iron Throne in the NBA as the most dominant player? Okay, I bring this up because you know who's not in the NBA Cup championship? The team that has already been crowned, right? No doubt. Shout out to Popovich, that coaching tree. You understand? Just greatness all over the place. Coach Bud, Pop, right? Mike Brown, Brett Brown, former coach of the 76ers, on and on and on. Okay, and you see that they were able to have success after leaving the camp. That's one of the things that we go back and forth with in the Commonwealth. The Belichick tree, however fruitful it was in terms of the Patriots winning championships, okay, when those Belichick coaches left New England, did they find success? Not always. Okay, Popovich guys, I know, different sport, football, but hey, we can do apples to apples. Winning is winning. Okay. And Patriots coaches after leaving haven't always had that same success. Interestingly, Mike Vrabel, right, longtime Patriots player, not a Bill Belichick guy, right? He left the sidelines playing and went right into coaching and has been successful ever since. Okay, so let's bring it back over to the NBA. Okay, who ain't hooping right now? As I let my bro know that we bro's busy. Everybody's busy. I think I heard a good quote on that. Everybody's busy, and your excuses don't put money in my pocket. Right? Because I'm the first one that went, oh, well, I always want to say that. But then everybody's busy. What are you talking about? And you're woulda, coulda, shoulda, missed an appointment, late for an appointment. I ain't pointing no fingers. But, it's hard to, but it's hard for everybody to be on time. So right? Only time can tell how that clock tick. I still love hair, but I'm still a hostage. We got two personalities. Check the posture. We smoke out the now, flare out the, right? You know what I mean? Who was that? What song was that? I'm passing graveyard singing people Hail Mary. Till I'm out, parachute. I know the lyrics, but sometimes the song eludes me. Okay? Got to get there. Two personalities. Check the posture. It'll come back to me. I'm having a little bit of a but to the point about consistency, right? Being OKC is nowhere to be found tonight. That's because the Spurs got them up out of there. All right. Are they still on pace to win however many games? Yes. But this is coming back to this man right there on the screen. Okay. SGA, reigning MVP. But I have my questions about him. I got to say, I got questions about SGA. Is it okay? Are we allowed to question the Oklahoma City Thunder? Have they already been given the second championship based on how fast they've gotten out in this start? Questions about SGA is not just that the San Antonio Spurs beat them in the NBA Cup, took that accolade. It's an accolade. It means something. Does it mean everything? I know, but the NBA, if you gotten off to that blistering start back to the Oklahoma City Thunder, then it stands to reason that you would win the NBA Cup because it's in the beginning of the season and you're off to a fast start. But they haven't done that. Okay, that's not the indictment. That doesn't mean in and of itself that SGA is not the best player in the NBA. But what I am welding that to is the fact that SGA, for one, and then Oklahoma City got mad dog by who? Who'd you say that, Chris? Yeah, they got mad dog by the Joker last year in the NBA playoffs, where he was pound for pound the best player in that series, forcing it all the way to 7 games. So what that showed me is, yes, Oklahoma City Thunder are a movement. They have a culture, right? And we're going to tie this in when we talk about the OKC culture into the hoop dreams that I was seeing at the youth level, at the high school level. High school is not youth; it's further than youth. But okay, everyone wants to dive into OKC, and they're just they're going to win 74 or 5 games, and they are a juggernaut, and they do have draft assets aplenty, and their young core, SGA, Holmgren, Jalen Williams, a lot of others, right? But this is the culture that's it. And yeah, it's easy when people are winning to say, "Oh, culture, culture, culture." We had the Patriots way here in New England until TB12 took his talents to South Beach or the Bay Area, whatever. And the Patriot way hasn't been much of nothing since that happened. So everyone talks culture when you're winning, not necessarily talking culture when you're losing. By the way, we are gonna address that. We have an Eric Spoelstra little clip which we're gonna do in South of Life. South of Life. It's getting a little bit. It's late, but there's no excuses for this ridiculousness. I got to get my Slice of Life. We're gonna get to that Eric Spoelstra clip in Slice of Life. Relative to culture. Right? Folks in Oklahoma City, young guys, veteran guys, they're buying into team. Team first, me second. Team first, me second. Right? Meaning, I'm looking in the mirror first. This isn't going wrong. That's not going wrong. I'm not playing enough. I'm not getting an opportunity. I need to be in this position, so on and forth. Before I utter any of that stuff, I'm looking in the mirror. What am I bringing to the table? What do I need to improve upon to make all those things a reality? Right? Oklahoma City is bought into 1 through 12, 13, 14, 15 team. Draymond Green talked about it in a clip that we previously alluded to. They know where the other guy is before he gets there, and that lead pass has already been thrown. They have the selfless foundation, and that's where all the rest of their success is built. San Antonio is no different. Okay? But it's important when we're talking about premier teams in the league, favorites for the NBA championship, and then the best players in the league. It comes back to that essential and root selfless culture. Speaking of, who's Chris talking about here? Speaking of, Pop. Knicks up 5. Now we got 2 and change to go. Okay. Notice the Knicks. This is where you got to give Mike Brown credit. They're scoring the ball at a high. I had my skepticism about the increased pace with their roster, but the Knicks are just putting points up. 115, 120. They're scoring the ball. While Mike Brown obviously is a Pop guy, so he knows defensive principles. Holding on to a defensive identity, we'll say that. Okay, we'll see. Plenty of time. We'll see how it pans out. All right. Connection back to the Spurs when we talk about Pop and what he said. No, I can't make, because I was going to give a Jeff Van Gundy quote, but it's a different, slightly different scenario. But Pop was always keen to note. You know why the San Antonio Spurs had that quote unquote culture and those championships, those 5 championships? It's because Tim Duncan allowed Coach Pop to be Coach Pop. He allowed himself to be coached hard and set the example, so everybody else is going to fall in line. Everybody else falling in line because Tim Duncan is saying, I'm not above the team, the system, the program, whatever you want to call it. So, right, and that's talk about Larry Bird when he, running the stairs. Get that clip up for the people on the screen. Right. Best player allows himself to be coached, then everybody else is going to allow themselves to be coached. And it's not going to be a question. And it's not going to be a lip poked out. And it's not going to be a toe down, tug of war when you got to, instruct a player to do something that's basic for the team and for your success. Okay? Another thing Pop is keen to say, make me play you. Make me play you. You see guys poking their lip up, bad body language, bad energy, not getting 50-50 balls. And then you act, like you deserve A, B, C, X, Y, Z, max player privileges, your specific seat on the plane. Coach is going to be running things, scheming things up for you. And eye test, you're not showing me anything. Your player efficiency is atrocious. But you're entitled to A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and you don't even maximize your minutes? Eye test. Everybody's watching the game. You haven't shown anybody anything except turnovers and a bad attitude. But the first thing out of your mouth is, I deserve A, B, C, X, Y, Z, when you haven't shown anything. What are you talking about here? Make me play you. You get in the game. You get a steal. You get a rebound. You get a deflection. You get an assist. You get an isolation bucket. You come in the game and you're consistently winning possessions. What's everybody in the stands saying? Why isn't so-and-so playing more? They're busy winning possessions. Where contrarily, folks get out there and lose possession after possession after possession. You can't get those back, by the way. Oh, my bad. I'll get it next time. That possession is gone. We lost the possession. It's over. A 50-50 ball, you didn't get. Lost another possession. A layup, you blew. Lost another possession. Okay, you hit a bucket. Okay, we clap for a second or two. Then you let a straight line drive go. Lost another possession. You're out there losing possessions aplenty. You have a negative player efficiency. You have a negative plus minus. But they're talking about what you deserve. And who needs to do what. Okay? That's not happening over in San Antonio. Knicks up 118-110. They're pulling away. CP the franchise. Go New York. Go New York. Go. Shout out to CP. Knicks Fan TV. Go ahead and check him out. He's going to be doing it live tonight. Got to do it. Hey, things are looking promising. I'm all for it. This could be a Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr situation. Get the championship. Championship is a little bit lofty, but no, it's not lofty. It is 50 years plus. It has to happen. Okay, but back to the best player in the NBA. And this man here, Mr. Victor Wembanyama, having to be in the conversation. Clearly in the conversation, but, right? The West it's not wide open. That's an exaggeration. That's an overstatement. Okay, but there's no preeminent favorite. Yes, Oklahoma City Thunder are not a preeminent favorite. I don't care how many games they win in a row. I don't care if they win 74, 75 games. They're not a preeminent favorite. And the reason being is because they can be mad dogged. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is an MVP. Yes, arguably he should have went to Joker last year and you had voter fatigue. We can get into that. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hasn't shown me dominance. He's a good player. He puts up numbers. You know who's putting up numbers? Con Kneppel, that rookie out of Charlotte. And he's a good player. But you want to know why he's putting up numbers? Quick aside, is because Charles Lee is running this 7 seconds or less, trying to outscore everybody. So his numbers are inflated. Yes, I said it. Is Con Kneppel a good player? Good young prospect? Yes. But his numbers are a bit inflated because of the pace and the style in which he plays. Right? So we got to include that. Okay? No doubt. But back to SGA, he's not showing me dominance. Meaning take over a game. Sometimes I dream that he is me. You got to see that's how I dream to be. Boom, 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 boom. The dream I move. The dream I groove. Like, if I could be like Mike, I want to be like, I'm not seeing dominance from SGA. I said what I said. And he's not a product of the system. No, he can go out there and get buckets. He can get buckets, and he's an efficient player, and he's a good dude. He's a nice guy. You know, he's selfless, all the intangibles, so on and forth, yada, yada, yada. But when the rubber meets the road, and somebody has to go out and take over a game, I said take over. Go get Jay-Z. Let's put the Black Album in. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. I'm stepping the game up, folks. We're going to get some of these, we're going to get some of this audio for you. We're going to get some of the audio for you. Yeah, you know, I mean, I can do what I can do, but we're going to get some audio in the background. We stepping the production game up. I ain't seen no takeover from SGA. Like, I don't have, you know who I saw some takeover from? Joker last year in that playoff series. 2 straight series where Joker was just like, get off of me. Because they had a 7-game battle. They had a 7-game battle against the Clippers before that, who I favored. I favored the Clippers. I was upset with San Antonio. I was upset with Denver for getting rid of Mike Malone. So I said, we're going to go with the franchise that had ironclad culture. This is before the whole salary cap disaster that's been swept under the rug. But that's neither here nor there. This is before that. Yes, and the Clippers still do have an extremely strong culture. The Knicks celebrating, get that play, you know, 1 by 11. I like that they're taking it seriously and cheering. I like that there's monetary incentives. Jason Smith, Mike Harmon, they always had some, you know, they was talking about some baseball level stipulations for the playoff NBA Cup, meaning you get a certain seed. That's not my take. That's Jason Smith and Mike Harmon. We don't steal takes around here. Okay, we right, which is interesting. Give it further significance. The money is obviously important because these NBA players, these professional athletes, you are aware. All right, they're all not filthy rich. Many of them do end up in financial distress. We know that. So the money is in and of itself is important. Shout out to Tyler Kolek. Like to see him celebrating. Appreciate it. Bittersweet, Chris. It's bittersweet because Thibodeau ain't on the sidelines. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm happy, but I can't. The joy is not if my coach my coach is not there. So I'm sorry. Man who built that thing up from scratch. Y'all didn't know who Julius Randle was until he came up under Tom Thibodeau leadership. You didn't know. You didn't know. You didn't know who Hartenstein didn't know who he was till he come up under Tom Thibodeau's leadership. Stop it, people. Jalen Brunson was a decent backup for Luka Doncic, starting in the All-Star game under Tom Thibodeau leadership. Stop it. We had La Cosa Nova unified. All right, I'm not going to go because it's going to, but I appreciate the congratulations. CP the franchise, Knicks Fans TV. Check them out. Going wild. back to what I'm saying in terms of the best player wearing the Iron Throne. That's a good comparison. I think there's a lot, right? SGA, D Wade, right? D Wade, pre-Heatles, right? Obviously had the relationship with LeBron, Team USA, so on and forth, and LeBron taking his talents and those guys unifying. Just two alphas out there on the prowl. But prime D Wade, when he was, when Kobe, before the Lakers were winning those championships, when the Lakers were building themselves back up, and Miami had their movement with Shaq. D Wade was just, seemed to play. SGA is a little bit more mid. He doesn't attack the basket to me as much as D Wade did in those days, like taking off on people. Oklahoma City, their defense is just tenacious across the board. And so, I think maybe SGA doesn't get the credit that he deserves for being a lockdown defender because so many other guys are making plays on defense. So we can put him right up there with D Wade in terms of his defensive prowess. Okay. It's a thing, folks. It's a thing because, when we're talking about the best, just pound for pound player on the planet, right? Oklahoma City, they're like a well-oiled machine. No, I'm not using that take. They're like a wolf pack, right? See the clips of a wolf pack. You know where the leader in the wolf pack is in the line. So I feel like I'm some sort of naturalist. Good friend of mine, is a scientist, studies coyotes, so he would have the scientific background to fill in here. But the leader is in the trail, so he can see everything, right? So back to SGA, like Oklahoma City and their collective culture. Not that you have to, all of a sudden turn into the 2001 Philadelphia 76ers and just give the ball to one guy and everybody else just do the little things. I'm not saying they have to have that model of just because that's not a winning model. But my point is, right? I feel that at a certain point, we just you just got to get somebody has to be in takeover mode. This Oklahoma City team, and I'm talking a lot about Oklahoma City with Wemby up there. What do I mean to say? They do remind me of the Celtics dynasty before that was disbanded. I'm not going down that rabbit hole right now. Right? We didn't get to see the Celtics Nuggets series that we wanted because Denver got knocked out. They got mad dog by Minnesota, who then got mad dog by the Mavericks. And the Mavericks, for as talented as they were, Luka, Kyrie locked in, shooters around them, not beating themselves, playing together, with the good, the Mavericks were not ready for the Celtics with the fantastic, with the Fab Five. Crispy P at the five, right? Tatum, Brown, White, and Holiday. They weren't ready for that. You could slow down Luka, then Kyrie's all by himself, and then it was trouble. But if that Celtics team had played against the Nuggets, okay, much harder for the Celtics to slow down Joker than Luka Doncic. Yeah. Is Wemby there? No, he's not. He's not there in terms like he's, he does a lot. I think Wemby, the unicorn that he is, may impact the game more defensively at this point than offensively, even though, yes, he can score. Yes, he posterized Draymond. Yes, he plays with a swagger. and guys talking, saying he should bulk up. No, you should skinny up. Okay, this is basketball. It's a freedom of movement sport. It's not a collision sport. It's not football. Okay, so Wemby having a distance runner's frame is appropriate. Chet Holmgren, right? That distance runner. Well, you got to get tough. And these guys, first of all, both of them have great functional strength. We've talked about this. They have great functional strength. You know who else has great functional strength? The person guarding him, Kevin Durant. Understanding angles, understanding leverage, beating people to the spot. Versus individuals that have great physical strength, muscular, but they are mechanical and predictable. So you know what they're doing. You can't anticipate that hook shot. You're at that, you're contesting at the release point and punching it off the backboard. Okay? And you can maintain leverage and make it difficult for people to back you down. Hold that defender, hold that person up until the secondary defender comes, the help comes, and then you'll be all right. Wemby to me impacts the game more defensively than, which in and of itself is huge. Rather than just being this offensive juggernaut, and he's getting there, step by step. But he's not. He doesn't have a move like, and there was only one skyhook, so that's not app. You can't. I'm not criticizing Wemby because he hasn't developed maybe arguably the most dominant basketball move in the history of the game. What I am saying is him outside shooting threes, or at the top of the perimeter, that's not going to jive in crunch time. He's going to have to do it from the high post, low post, with the occasional threat of a three in certain in situations. But if it's got to get a bucket time, and you're telling me Wemby's going to be out there in a 1-4 set, stop it. I've already won. Yes, he may do something, pull some magic out of a hat, but no. Versus if you tell me you got to deal with Joker, free throw line extended, or Joker in the paint, when a bucket has to be gotten, in terms of all the things that he can do from those different positions. And yes, of course, he can pass from the 3-point line and he can hit the occasional three, but that's not his go-to when it's money time. They're using Joker in the high post, short corner, or block if something absolutely has to get done. They're not putting the Joker up front in a, or maybe they'll run a screen roll with him and Murray to get an action. But it's not just going to be the Joker up top, just dribbling between his legs, pounding the rock until, low in the shot clock. No. All right. So again, back to Wemby, back to SGA. Luka is on a tear with the Lakers. Okay, Luka clear, of these guys, more, mostly a one-way player. Okay, obviously Wemby is going to be dominant on both sides. SGA can impact the game on both sides. Joker, not, a shot blocker, but a consistent rebounder for sure. Right. I'm saying at the end of the day here, the Iron Throne is empty. It's empty. I'm not putting SGA on the Iron Throne. I'm not doing it. Does Joker belong there? Joker needs to get back, and I need to see the Joker in the Western Conference Finals. What's going on? Like this art that I'm seeing from my Knicks. Okay? Iron Throne is empty. And it's to be determined. Right? Is it Joker? Is it Luka? Is it Wemby? Is it SGA? No names from the East come to my mind, at the top of my head. Okay. There's a difference between being good player, MVP level player, dominant player. It's one thing Shaquille O'Neal talks about. I didn't try to be the most skilled player. I tried to be the most dominant player. And for many years, particularly in the early 2000s, he succeeded at that. 29, 30, 10, 11, 12, the most dominant. New NBA, right? Not a back to the basket, just bowl over people NBA. Okay, but these folks in line to be the face of the league, you can tell Joker, who's a bit older, he's older than SJ, he's older than Wemby, older than Luka. Man, a few words, but you can tell at a certain point, he's just a little bit fed up. Keeps it to himself, but all right. I'm going to show y'all today. What do we say? What do they say? I don't really say this, but you know what I mean. You're going to learn today. You're going to learn today. Okay? Right? Seen that more from Joker. We'll see if SGA and Wemby and Luka in money time when it matters. Luka's he's shown flashes of dominance. It's different with Luka because he's not doing that on both ends of the floor. It's primarily offensively, but even still, he's taken over some games or hit buckets in crucial moments that have swung games. You're getting one or the other from Luka, okay? You're getting one or the other. I need to see more of that from SGA. I said what I said. I need to see more of it. Good dude, good teammate, so on and forth. They'll start another win streak, fine. You don't judge an individual on how they doing when the wind is at their back. That's not the judge. That's not when they're cruising. It's important. It's not that you shouldn't want to, it's obviously much harder than they're making it out to be. But in money time, playoff time, crunch time, when they get in those meaningful games, right? That's when I need to see, and again, speaking of the Iron Throne, which is empty right now, made that clear. It's empty right now in the NBA. Right? What's the conversation still to this day about one Mr. Chef Curry? Okay, where's he at in those clutch moments? Still to this day, is he an all-time great? And then again, I'm barring here, right? He's not a point guard. He's not a shooting guard. He's a vanguard. Shout out to Jalen Rose, Fab Five. Okay. But that vanguard in money, got to get a bucket, need it right now. If it doesn't have the moments that other all-time great players have had. Okay? Let's make this a little bit more clear. Because we got to talk about hoop dreams now. I got to talk about hoop dreams. It's on my mind. It's on my heart. We're going to discuss the hoop dreams that's out there. But before we do, let's get an image. Let's get a taste. Let's get a taste of dominance, okay? Let's get that dominance. All right. First of all, like the you look at Will Chamberlain in high school, it's unreal. They're playing the game. It seems like they're in a basement somewhere. They put a basketball court in a basement somewhere. Referee is on the court. No end line to speak of. The hoops attached to the wall, which is the wall. The ceiling is, a few feet above the basket. I don't know how you put arc on your shot. It seems. Right? But Wilt is still. Difficult at times because he didn't win the championship that Ben. Man, what's going on with your boy? Bill Russell. Didn't win the championship that Bill Russell won. But in terms of just sheer dominance, right? 3-second rule because of Wilt, amongst other things. Changing the dimensions of the game. Right? Now, for the SGAs, Wemby's, for those that, I can't say SGA is ringless anymore. He got himself a ring. My point is the dominance of a Wilt Chamberlain. Did we see it in the postseason? No, we didn't. Excuse me, we didn't see it in the postseason. We did not see it then. We saw it in the regular season. We saw him average 50 points a game. We saw him score 100 points in the game. We didn't see this level, this Wilt in the postseason when it was for all the marbles. Okay, that's when, gentleman for San Francisco, okay, Mr. Bill Russell, that's when you saw him go in there, find strategies, scheme out ways to edge arguably more talented players and teams out of championships. Okay. And that's why his name drops in the all-time conversations. Because the dominance was when the wind was at his back. The dominance was not when the wind was powering in his face, pushing him back. Did not see a dominant Wilt in many of those high level. I don't want to say many. All right. In some of those high leverage situations in his career. Right. So that's another level for some of the young stars. It's another level for some of those young stars. Okay, we're gonna leave Wilt up there. Okay, got to talk a little bit about yes, we gotta hold on. Yep. Yes, sir. We're gonna switch. We're gonna keep Wilt. Hold on. Well, I'm not talking. I don't like. Hold on. We're gonna stop sharing. Shout out to Wilt still. We'll come back here as we move to the next. As we move to the next, because I was and I hope everybody out there had a good Tuesday. Shout out, to the Tuesday. No, it's not what I need. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. In the Western, shout out to the West Coast. T-shirts and flip-flops. Reminds me, I remember hearing a story from Jay Billis. Jay Billis, who's a West Coast guy, you know, he's like, when he went to Duke, he didn't bring a jacket. He didn't bring like a down coat. You know, he's in Carolina. The winter, so it's not, you're not getting that humid, blazing heat. Jay Billis is like, it gets cold here at night. Like, what the heck? California guy, California kid. So, I'm glad to hear that it was, very glad to hear that it was sunny in the California. Since we're talking about weather, we'll just do a quick aside in terms of where we're at here. Discuss the weather for a quick second, and then we'll get into slice of life. But people in New England know what time it is. Right? Y'all doing 80s and flip-flops and mochachinos and good vibes. This is what time it is in New England. You understand?